What if I told you that right now, somewhere in a lab, scientists are literally growing human hearts? Not just repairing them, growing them from scratch. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and today we're diving into the most mind-blowing field in modern medicine, regenerative medicine. And trust me, what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about healing. Picture this. It's 1998, and a little girl named Hannah is dying. Her windpipe is collapsing, she can barely breathe, and doctors tell her parents there's nothing they can do. Fast forward to today, and Hannah is not just alive, she's thriving, thanks to the world's first lab-grown organ transplant. But here's the crazy part. That was just the beginning of a medical revolution that's happening right now. Friends, write in the comments where you're watching us from, and hit that like button if you want to know what the most amazing and unexpected breakthrough in regenerative medicine really is. Because what I'm about to show you next will literally blow your mind. But let's rewind to where this incredible journey really started. Picture ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago. The Egyptians were already trying to regenerate tissue. They'd pack wounds with honey and animal fat, hoping desperately that somehow, some way, the body would heal itself completely. They had no idea they were laying the groundwork for what would become the most revolutionary field in medicine. Fast forward to 1908, and here's where things get absolutely wild. A Russian scientist named Alexander Maximov is staring through his microscope, and he sees something that changes everything. He discovers what he calls stem cells, these magical little powerhouses that can turn into any type of cell in the human body. Can you imagine his excitement? He's literally looking at the building blocks of life itself. But here's the heartbreaking part. For decades, nobody believed him. The scientific community laughed at his ideas. They called him crazy, delusional, a dreamer living in fantasy land. Poor Maximov died never knowing that he'd discovered the key to potentially curing every disease known to mankind. Then comes 1961, and two Canadian scientists, James Till and Ernest McCulloch, accidentally stumble upon proof that Maximov was right all along. They're doing radiation experiments on mice. Pretty gruesome stuff, honestly. When they notice these weird little bumps growing in the animals' spleens. At first, they think it's cancer. Their hearts sink. Have they just created a new disease? But when they look closer, they realize they're witnessing a miracle. These aren't tumors. They're colonies of stem cells, desperately trying to rebuild the damaged tissue. The mice are literally healing themselves from the inside out. The scientific world goes absolutely insane. Suddenly, everyone's talking about regenerative medicine. And this is where our story takes a dark turn, because with great power comes great temptation. In the 1980s, a doctor named Paolo Macchiarini emerges on the scene. Charismatic, brilliant, and absolutely convinced he can revolutionize surgery. He starts promising patients the impossible. Brand new organs grown in laboratories. Enter Claudia Castillo, a young mother from Spain. It's 2008, and she can barely breathe. Tuberculosis has destroyed her windpipe, and she's suffocating slowly, day by day. Traditional surgery has failed, and doctors tell her family to prepare for the worst. She's got months, maybe weeks to live. That's when Macchiarini steps in like a medical superhero. He promises Claudia something that sounds like pure science fiction. He's going to take a donated windpipe, strip away all the original cells, and replant it with her own stem cells. In theory, her body would accept it perfectly because it would literally be her own tissue. The operation is a massive media sensation. Cameras everywhere, journalists calling it a miracle, and Macchiarini becomes an overnight celebrity. Claudia survives the surgery, and for a brief shining moment, it looks like we've entered a new era of medicine. The whole world is watching, hoping, believing that we've finally cracked the code of human regeneration. But behind the scenes, something sinister is brewing. Other patients start coming forward, people who trusted Macchiarini with their lives. And one by one, their stories begin to paint a horrifying picture of what happens when ambition overwhelms ethics in the world of regenerative medicine. Take Yulia Tulik, a young woman from Estonia. She's told she needs a new windpipe, and Macchiarini convinces her that his experimental procedure is her only hope. The surgery takes place in 2012, and initially everything seems fine. But then, slowly, her body starts rejecting the implant. She can't breathe properly, she's in constant pain, and the promised miracle is turning into a living nightmare. And Yulia isn't alone. Patient after patient starts experiencing complications. Some can't speak anymore, others can barely swallow, and the most heartbreaking cases are fighting for every breath. The revolutionary procedure that was supposed to save lives is destroying them instead. Meanwhile, legitimate researchers around the world are making incredible breakthroughs in regenerative medicine, but they're being overshadowed by these scandals. Scientists like Anthony Atala are successfully growing bladders in laboratories and transplanting them into patients who actually recover completely. But nobody's talking about these real successes because everyone's focused on the disasters. Here's what's absolutely fascinating. While some doctors were cutting corners and rushing to fame, other researchers were taking the slow, methodical approach that real science demands. They were growing skin cells for burn victims, creating cartilage for damaged joints, and even experimenting with nerve regeneration for paralyzed patients. But then, in 2016, everything changes again. A team of researchers in Japan makes a discovery so revolutionary, so game-changing, that it literally rewrites the rules of what's possible in regenerative medicine. They figure out how to reprogram adult cells, regular skin cells from your arm, and turn them back into stem cells. But here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. Scientists started looking beyond just human cells. They began experimenting with something that sounds like pure science fiction. Picture this. A team of researchers in Boston discovered that certain jellyfish proteins could actually help human heart tissue regenerate after a heart attack. And then came the breakthrough that changed everything. In 2018, Dr. Chen, a brilliant researcher from Stanford, was working with a patient named Marcus, a 34-year-old construction worker who had lost 3 fingers in an accident. Traditional medicine said, "Sorry, they're gone forever." But Dr. Chen had other plans. She used a revolutionary technique, combining the patient's own stem cells with a bioscaffolding made from, wait for it, pig bladder tissue. I know it sounds crazy, but stay with me. Within 6 months, Marcus was growing actual functional fingers, with nerves, blood vessels, even fingerprints. The media went absolutely insane. Headlines screamed about miracle cures and the end of disability. Investors poured billions into regenerative medicine companies. Everyone thought we were just 5 years away from growing entire organs in labs. But then reality hit hard. Dr. Patricia Williams in London tried to replicate the finger regeneration with her patient Emma, a pianist who had lost her hand in a car crash. Emma was desperate to play again. Music was her entire life. The first few months looked promising. New tissue was growing, blood vessels were forming. Emma started believing she'd play Carnegie Hall again. But then, something went terribly wrong. The regenerated tissue started rejecting itself. Emma developed severe infections. She ended up worse than when she started, now requiring multiple surgeries just to stop the pain. The promising treatment had become her nightmare. This wasn't an isolated case. Across the world, similar stories emerged. A spinal injury patient in Tokyo who could walk for 3 weeks before losing all sensation permanently. A burn victim in Berlin whose regenerated skin kept falling off. The golden age of regenerative medicine suddenly felt more like a house of cards. The scientific community was devastated. Dr. Chen, who had given Marcus his fingers back, was now being sued by dozens of patients whose treatments had failed. She told me in an exclusive interview, "We thought we had cracked the code of human regeneration. Instead, we learned how little we actually understood about the human body." But here's what's absolutely incredible about science. It doesn't give up. While the world was focused on these high-profile failures, a quiet revolution was happening in unexpected places. A small team in rural Kenya, led by Dr. James Mbeki, was working with traditional healers and modern technology. They weren't trying to grow entire limbs. Instead, they focused on something much simpler but equally profound, helping the body remember how to heal itself. Dr. Mbeki discovered that certain plant compounds, used by local healers for centuries, could actually activate dormant regenerative pathways in human cells. Their first success was with Amara, a 12-year-old girl who had severe scarring from burns that covered 40% of her body. Traditional medicine said she'd be scarred for life. Plastic surgery could only do so much. But Dr. Mbecki's treatment, combining ancient plant wisdom with cutting-edge stem cell therapy, achieved something remarkable. Over 18 months, Amara's scars didn't just fade. They transformed into healthy, functional skin. But more importantly, there were no side effects, no rejections, no complications. The treatment worked with her body's natural processes instead of fighting against them. Word spread quickly through the medical community. This wasn't about growing new organs or replacing body parts. It was about awakening the incredible regenerative power that already exists within us. Dr. Mbecki's approach was being called guided regeneration, helping the body do what it already knows how to do. Today, 5 years later, guided regeneration has helped thousands of patients worldwide. We're seeing remarkable recoveries from conditions that were once considered permanent. Heart tissue regenerating after attacks, nerve connections rebuilding after injuries, even early signs of spinal cord repair. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this story isn't the technology. It's what it teaches us about hope and perseverance. Marcus still has his regenerated fingers, and he's become an advocate for responsible medical research. Emma, the pianist, eventually received guided regeneration therapy, and while she didn't get her original hand back, she learned to play beautifully with adaptive techniques and her partially restored function. Dr. Chen now works alongside Dr. Mbecki, combining high-tech research with traditional wisdom. She says the failures taught her more than the successes ever could. We learned that regenerative medicine isn't about playing God. It's about becoming better partners with the incredible healing intelligence that already exists in every human being. And Amara? She's now 17, completely scar-free, and studying to become a doctor herself. She wants to continue Dr. Mbecki's work, bringing guided regeneration to even more people who have lost hope. When I asked her what she'd tell someone facing a similar situation, she said something that gave me chills. Your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. Sometimes it just needs someone to remind it. The future of regenerative medicine isn't about creating perfect humans or eliminating all suffering. It's about understanding that healing is a partnership between cutting-edge science and the ancient wisdom already written in our DNA. We're not trying to remake ourselves. We're learning to become who we were always meant to be. And that, my friends, might be the most beautiful revolution of all.